She could be extremely malevolent, intimidating, threatening. If you're trying to fake mental illness, wow, hearing voices. Everybody knows that when you're hearing voices, you have to be crazy. Okay, B, every day at noon, the devil tells me kill someone.
She fleeced a host of banks and stiffed the finest New York stores for over $50 million. She was the consummate con artist, the queen of cons, a cross between Garbo and Grace Kelly with the moxie of a superhero. Her name was Lily Schmidt, and she had over 40 different aliases.
You had half of the doctors saying, she's got every illness known to man, and you had half of them saying she's faking.
Barbara Kirwin, a forensic psychologist, was given the task of determining Lily's sanity. Dr. Kirwin had a reputation as being somewhat of a fake buster. If Lily couldn't convince Kirwin of her mental incompetence, the queen of cons would be an old woman before she ever set foot in Tiffany's again.
When I first finally got in to see Lily, I was smart enough to bring a can of soda with me as kind of a peace offering. And in a correctional setting, chewing gum, cigarettes, soda is pretty hard to come by. I was rather surprised at her physical appearance because I had read a lot of the police arrest records. I had read the descriptions of witnesses who had been victims of her cons. I had seen some of the photographs, and they clearly looked as if they had come out of the pages of Vogue. She sort of looked like a wreck of her former self. You could see the bare bones of what must have been a devastatingly attractive woman, and that probably actually explains some of the power she had to get over on people. Lily was on to me much faster than I was on to her. And I could see in the beginning that she was starting to hustle me, almost like a carny. Trying to find, I think, areas where she could garner sympathy, where she could make a connection with me, emotional hot spots, kind of the classic ones, like, do you have any children? And then talking about the fact that she loved children, she wanted to have children, she had all these terrible miscarriages and rapes, which of course were never substantiated. She would talk about God. She would ask me if I believed in God. Did I pray? I was doing this difficult work of judging. Did I pray for infusion from the Holy Spirit? All in the service of being able to convince me, get me on her side, and make me go in there and do what she wanted me to do, which was to say, as the government's witness, this woman is worthy of sympathy and treatment. We should suspend her sentence and put her in a nice government hospital.
Lily talked continuously for 3.5 hours. She wept as she spoke of her abusive father and her terrible childhood in Bulgaria. She clenched her fists in rage as she recounted the injustices her family suffered at the hands of the communists. She recounted the joys and pains of her many love affairs and numerous marriages. As Barbara Kirwin assessed Lily's mental state, she was trying to determine if she was crazy or simply crazy as a fox. It would take all of Dr. Kirwin's savvy to know when Lily was telling the truth and when she was conning.
You could almost feel like you were living the pages of a James Bond novel. I mean, she had even conned the chief of security of the Pentagon. So, you know, it became almost fantastic, and you had to anchor it.
Their lifestyle was that of a royal couple.
If I were doing marriage counseling with them, I would have to say that this was a perfect match. It seemed to be one of the few enduring human relationships that Lily had. The truly mentally ill do not commit crimes with an accomplice. They don't have a collaborator like Lily had Lenny, or Lily dealt with supposed hitmen to take out the federal agents. because the nature of severe psychotic mental illness is such that it alienates people from communicating with other people. So in that regard, Lily was making clear choices, and that's the issue of criminal responsibility.
So Lily was judged to have been in her right mind when she planned the hit on the two federal agents. But the con artist had one more con up her sleeve.
When I first saw her, we were talking about an issue in the past. Was she so mentally ill before that she shouldn't be convicted of the crime? She lost that round. She was convicted. So now we're at the next round, the last round. Is she so mentally ill that even though she's responsible for the crime, it's inhumane to put her in a prison? So now she has to become mentally ill right at this moment in time. So the mouse moved in.
Lily told one examiner that she saw a mouse walking on the walls of her cell. The mouse laughed at her and told her she was hopeless and that everyone was against her. "How pitiful you are," the mouse declared. That's when Barbara Kirwin persuaded Lily's defense attorney to administer the HSAS test, the Hidden Schizophrenia Attitude Scale.
The issue always in a forensic case is telling the fakers from the real thing. The difference about the HSAS is that there's very little wiggle room. You must choose between two alternatives, each of which is sort of bizarre sounding, may not describe your behavior, counterintuitive. The correct answer, so to speak, to either appear sane or to appear insane is not apparent even in the wording of the statement. You will start with the sentence stem, about hearing voices, and you must choose either A, this is something that has never happened to me, or B, every day at noon the devil tells me kill someone. Now, if you're normal and you have no reason to want to distort, most likely you're going to pick A, this is something that's never happened to me. If you're trying to fake mental illness, wow, hearing voices. Everybody knows that when you're hearing voices you have to be crazy. Okay, B, every day at noon the devil tells me kill someone. I have given this test to hospitalized schizophrenics, and they looked at answer B, and one of them said to me, I don't know which way to answer because the devil does tell me to kill, but not every day it's at noon. He tells me that periodically on sort of every other Sunday.
Lily obtained the highest score anyone had ever had for faking.
Lily was not having voices tell her to kill federal agents. She wasn't having a delusion that the federal agents were trying to kill her and she had to do this in self-defense. Lily had a clearly articulated plan, and the goal was to suit her purposes of getting out of jail. Never grew up, and in fact, that's a way to look at Lily without perhaps romanticizing her, that she was like a willful, pampered, and very precocious child playing with the world and people's lives as if she were playing in a dollhouse. She will never have security. She will never have the family that she used to fantasize about. She'll have a penitentiary, an infirmary, a series of various jails as she comes through the 30 years of her sentence. And at some point in time, and this is the real tragedy, and when it really will hit her, is she will be nearly a 70-year-old lady given a suitcase and $30 and a set of clothes and put out on the street. And all she knows is conning. And we'll see what works for a 70-year-old con artist.